Hi everyone, I changed up my filming location for a makeup video because I didn't want to leave my room today. I film in the room next to my room, I film in the bonus room, but I film with like my big camera and my laptop used as a monitor, and I just kind of wanted to like relax. But I really loved shopping my stash in one of my last videos. I shop my stash using makeup that I own but never use. This is going to be makeup that I used to love but don't currently use anymore. I feel like everyone can kind of relate to this. You find a favorite, you love it for months or even years, and then all of a sudden you just stop using it and then you don't ever use it again. That's basically the makeup that I've collected for this video. I'm really excited to slap all this makeup on my face though. Unlike the last video, I was a little bit nervous. This video, I know that I'm going to love everything that I put on my face. It's just been a long time since I've used any of it. And the reason why I don't use any of it is really just because I have tons of other stuff that I really love as well. I'm going to use the Too Faced Born This Way foundation. I have it in the shade Sand. The bottle for this I feel like is broken. It like, I don't know what happened. I think my sister took it to school or something because it like exploded in her bag, or I don't know. I don't know what happened. But I actually have another one of these foundations anyway because I keep it in my kit when I do makeup. I feel like this foundation is really beautiful on a lot of different people, and it's really long wearing too, which is super nice. But I used to use this foundation so often. It was like really my go-to foundation. I think I cycled through this foundation and my Naked Skin foundation from Urban Decay when that was still available. But I would wear this foundation really often. I used to wear this foundation before I worked for Ulta though. And I do feel like once I started working for Ulta, you know, I was just using so many new things and discovering so many new products all at once that this foundation kind of just got shifted to the side, and I was just trying new stuff and discovering new favorites. I do feel like I really love my Bare Minerals Bare Pro though a lot more than this guy, just because I love my Bare Minerals Bare Pro, but this is a great foundation if Bare Pro for some reason doesn't work for you. So I didn't have a concealer for this category, so I grabbed my Urban Decay Stay Naked concealer. I just haven't used this one in a little while, and a little while I mean like a few weeks. Not that long, but I have been loving my Kosas concealer, my Kosas Revealer concealer. So I just really haven't given this concealer much attention lately, even though this is a huge favorite of mine. You guys are gonna have to let me know how you feel about this filming location. I don't love change, and I'm sure there's a few of you guys out there that feel the same way as me. I don't love it when YouTubers change up their like little filming area. I don't know why. I've literally stopped watching YouTubers before because they changed up their filming area. Like, I'm ridiculous. But I don't know, I just didn't feel like setting up my big camera today. I kind of wanted to just stay in my room. My room is like super clean for once, so I'm trying to enjoy it. Let me know if any of you guys are feeling this way, but I feel like this quarantine has allowed me to keep my room spotless. Like, I am able to keep my room so clean right now because I'm constantly in it. And I think it has a lot to do also with like, I don't have to like get ready and then leave, you know? I can get ready and like hang out and like put things away. But I feel like in the real world when I'm getting ready, like I have to get ready and I'm usually running late, so I like get ready, I throw shit all over my room, and then I have to go. So I'm going to set my skin. I have the MAC setting powder right here. I think it's just called the Set Powder. So I don't know if you guys remember this, but Patrick Starr did a collaboration with MAC a few years ago, and they came out with a setting powder, and that setting powder literally like broke the internet. Like, the people were obsessed with that setting powder. It was like sold out forever. I did manage to buy one of those setting powders and I loved it. Like, it was seriously the best. Like, people were right for saying that it was so amazing. It really was so amazing, but it was a limited edition item, which really bothers me because, you know, when you find a setting powder that you like, you kind of like don't like to use other things. And also, like, it's really hard for me to find a really good setting powder. I ended up purchasing the plain MAC set powder to kind of replace it because obviously like I was going through it because I was using it every day, the Patrick Star one. And this one was also super nice. I like this one almost just as much as the Patrick Star one, but the color, like, I loved the shade of the Patrick Star one. And actually I did a little bit of research, not really that much research, I just looked on the website. But the Patrick Star setting powder was actually a mix of the white translucent and their peach shade, so I really wanted to buy both this one and the peach one and then mix them together and see if I can get the Patrick Star color, but I didn't have that much money at the time, so I just bought the white one. But I've always thought about doing that, like it's always been in the back of my head to do it. But anyway, back to this powder and why I don't really use it anymore. The only reason why I don't use it anymore is because I fell in love with the Jeffree Star powder, the Jeffree Star Magic Setting Powder I think it's called. Seriously, so good. Like, it is such a good powder. I feel like he needs to come out with a jumbo size of that powder because I love how big this powder is. Like this would take me forever to go through. With the Jeffree Star powder, it's kind of small. So for my bronzer, I really didn't have a bronzer that I used a lot and then stopped using because I feel like I've just always forever used the Becca Sunlit bronzer and Bondi bronze. But I did go through a little bit of a period where I was using the e.l.f. bronzer in Perpetually Tan, and I haven't used this in a long time. I actually feel like I haven't used this since I filmed my full face of e.l.f., to be honest, which was a little while ago. I asked e.l.f. if I could be on their PR list. Like, I sent them an email, I linked like my e.l.f. video that was pretty successful, and they said no, and then they just told me to join their rewards program, which is fine. I totally get it. Like, you know, they don't have to say yes to me. I wasn't like hurt about it or anything, but I just thought it was funny. But I wanted to get on their PR list because a lot of the products that they were releasing recently were a lot of like products that I know you guys would find interesting, like their Hydrating Camo Concealer. This bronzer is pretty. I think my only thing with it is that it's matte, and I love a satin bronzer. Like, I think a lot of people do prefer matte bronzers, but I love the look of like a satin bronzer because I feel like it really bronzes up the skin, and it also goes on really like delicious. Oh shoot. So in my videos I always do my eyes before I do my cheek products, but in real life I do my cheek products before my eyes because I usually don't wear eyeshadow, and sometimes eyeshadow is an afterthought for me. So I just like went right into my cheeks. I'm gonna do my eyes. So I'm going to work on my brows actually. I'm going to be using the Anastacio Dip Brow Pomade in the shade Dark Brown. I used to use this so often. Like, I used to use it all the time. It used to be my go-to brow product, that and the Anastasia brow powder. I still feel like I use the brow powder a little bit more often than the dip brow, but I never ever use the dip brow anymore. I just feel like I like a different kind of brow now. I like more fluffy brows, more natural looking brows. And I feel like if you're not careful with the dip brow, it can go south very quickly. So I really don't use it that often. I'm really missing my brow girl Jennifer. I just keep thinking about her and thinking about how my brows are just gonna look so good when she finally is able to do them again. And then to set my brows, I'm going to be using the Anastasia Clear Brow Gel. I exclusively use this product to comb down my baby hairs now, so I felt like it was still a fitting product to use in today's video. I still technically use it, but not for setting my brows. But I actually like this. Like, I like how the wand is pretty big, especially since my brow hairs are so long right now. So I feel like it's kind of nice. I feel like my brows look really good. Something to think about. For my eyeshadow, I used to love the Urban Decay Born to Run palette. I felt like the palette was just like so amazing and unique, and the colors in it really went from like super wearable to very fun. So I used to like use the heck out of this palette. I really loved it. I loved that you could like flip it back, and then the mirror on the back was really large. Just a really big fan of the palette. But again, I did buy this palette before I was working at Ulta, and then when I started working at Ulta, it was just like I just was using so many different things. So I figured I would bring this palette back out. I feel like I could have done this video like so many times over with different eyeshadow palettes, because when I was trying to pick one, I had a few that I used to really love but I don't use anymore. So maybe I could do this video again. I just might need like more interesting titles, you know what I mean? I'm gonna go in with Riff right here, but I loved this formula way more than the Urban Decay Naked palette formulas. I felt like the Naked palettes just weren't that pigmented. I felt like the original one was the best, and then they discontinued it. And the second one and the third one literally had no pigmentation, like how? And then they were charging like so much money for those palettes. But I will say they did have a cult following, usually white women. They did not make those palettes for people other than white women, basically. And then the Urban Decay Naked Heat came out, and that was my fucking shit. Like, that was my shit. They made that palette for me. That's what they did. They said, we're gonna stop making palettes for white women for a second, and then they made that palette for me. Beautiful. I would literally just wear this eyeshadow. Like, that would be it for me. I love the shade next to it, Still Hot, this like pink peachy shade, but I can't remember if the Born to Run came out before or after Naked Heat. Well, that doesn't look like anything. Oh, it kind of does on camera. In person, it really doesn't. But I just know that these are my two favorite Urban Decay palettes, the Born to Run and Naked Heat. I just feel like even the pops of color in this palette, like the purples and deep blues and greens, are still really wearable, and you can picture the look that you can create with them. I feel like sometimes when palettes, Morphe puts pops of colors in their palettes, it's just like, what am I supposed to do with that aside from like using it as a lower lash liner, you know? I'm actually gonna go in with this shade Baja. During this quarantine, I'm going to try and be better about washing my brushes more often, especially my eye brushes, because I just get them so dirty so quickly, and I end up using way more of them because I just grab a clean brush instead of cleaning the dirty ones off. And then I just accumulate so many dirty brushes. I'm going to go in with Blaze. It's kind of like a satin gold. Man, it goes on really light. Why? It has kind of like a reflect, like a peachy pink reflect, which is actually pretty fitting for this eye look. And then what I love about this palette is it has a very true brow bone highlight right here. It's like a very light satin, and it's perfect for the brow bone. I feel like a lot of palettes forget about that, but I love like a satin brow bone highlight. It's my favorite. I'm going to mix Rift and Still Shot together and then apply underneath my eyes. For my mascara, I didn't have a mascara that I used to use but don't use anymore because I don't keep old mascaras. So I just wanted to use the Revlon So Fierce mascara. I used it just the one time in my full face of Revlon, and I just wanted to use it again to form a more solid opinion on how I felt. I really love the L'Oreal Telescopic mascara, but I've noticed every time I've worn it recently that it makes my eyes burn so bad, and it makes my eyes burn to the point where I'm like getting a headache. Like, I was wearing it earlier and I had to take my makeup off and take a nap because I was getting a headache so bad. I grabbed the Laura Geller Gilded Honey highlighter. This was definitely one of those YouTube made me buy items. Oh my god, Gilded Honey was like the shit back in old YouTube. It was definitely one of the first highlighters that kind of came to scene. That and MAC Soft and Gentle was really popular, and then there was another one, I'm sure. Remember when MAC came out with Whisper of Guilt, that limited edition highlight for their holiday collection? Oh my god, literally, like, the fact that I could not get my hands on that the first time around broke my heart. But yes, Gilded Honey is very beautiful. I'm going to apply some now. Ooh. I definitely feel like in today's standards, highlight isn't as, you know, crazy popular as it once was. What do we feel like is kind of the big... I don't know. I don't know if there is like a big product, you know? I feel like everything is kind of big and like everything kind of has its own little niche. But I guess highlighter was just one of the last things that was like super new. And there was a time where like nobody was using highlighter, and then all of a sudden everyone was using Laura Geller Gilded Honey. So this is a MAC blush, and this is a brand new MAC blush. A little while ago, Ulta was doing 50% off of their MAC blushes, and this particular one is in the shade Flure Power. This was the very first MAC blush that I ever owned. It was one of my very first real makeup products that I ever owned, and I went through it. It was like my first blush. Obviously I went through it, and a few months ago I did repurchase the blush just kind of for nostalgia, and I haven't used it, so I felt like this would be a good opportunity to use it again, because it is something that I used to use all the time and I don't use anymore. Even though this particular blush is new. In 5th grade, my mom brought me to the MAC store in Nordstrom, like the little, you know, the MAC counter in Nordstrom. And the girl, she matched me for a MAC Select Cover Up concealer. She picked out this blush color for me, and then we picked out a lip gloss. And those were my first 3 MAC products. I just had a really cute thought, but I pick out so many like teenage girls, like young teenage girls' first makeup products, and that to me, like at that time when I was a young girl in my youth, those first makeup products were so special to me. I felt so mature and grown up, and I think it's so sweet that I have helped girls pick out those products for themselves. That is so sweet though, like helping them pick out their first concealer and their first like real lipstick. Like I just always think it's so fun, but I just had that realization that like that's a special memory for a lot of young women, and I love that. So cute. I used to really love the Urban Decay Glide On Lip Pencil in the shade 1993. I don't know why I don't use this one anymore. Okay, I do know. I love my pinky brown nudes. We all know this. There's just a little bit of mauve in it that doesn't fit my pinky brown nude criteria, but I'm still going to apply it. I do remember really liking this shade, so we'll see how I feel. I have my opinions now that I feel my pinky brown nude criteria is like super solidified at this moment. I feel as though this is a mauvey brown nude, and because it has that mauve in it, it pulls more cool toned, and I love my pinky brown nudes because the pink in it causes the brownie nude to be a little bit more warm toned. So this is a little bit too cool toned for my liking. And I don't remember these being very sticky, these Urban Decay lip liners, but this is really sticky. I don't know why. And then lastly, the Fenty Beauty Universal Gloss Balm. I used to wear this shade a lot when it first came out. It's really nice, but I don't like the packaging of it. And I like the smell, it makes my mouth water, but I don't like the smell at the same time. You know, I would rather a lip gloss smell like cake, but the packaging of it is just poorly made. The gloss ends up getting all over the tube, so it's like gross to touch, and I just don't really use it anymore, but I'm gonna use it today. It's a really cute combination, I'm not gonna lie. So this is the final look of products that I used to love but don't use anymore. I love this look. I knew I would. It's not the same as my last video of products that I never use. I loved the eye look that I was able to create in that video, but I knew I could use other things to do it, and I really wasn't liking the skin. I loved the cheek products though, but we're talking about this makeup right now. I don't know why I keep talking about the other one. This just looks so good to me. This is how I like to look. This is how I like to appear. The only thing I'm not too keen on is the lips. It's because of that lip liner. I honestly would like this look a ton better if I was just wearing the Fenty Beauty Gloss Bomb and skipped out on the lip liner. But other than that, my brows are looking good, my eyes are looking good, skin is looking good, and my cheeks are looking good. Everything basically gets an A+ in my book. But that is going to be it for me today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Definitely keep giving me suggestions on ways you guys would like to see me shopping my stash. I feel really inspired by the idea right now, and I have a lot of ideas that I've come up with myself, but I love hearing your thoughts and suggestions. If you aren't already subscribed, definitely go ahead and do so, and hopefully I see you next time.